स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतङ्गमय। Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us offer our salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God incarnate. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. Today's topic, significant words of Swami Vivekananda. Yesterday we have offered special worship to Swami Vivekananda, how he spread the message of Vedanta in the West, how he gave the teachings of the Upanishads in a nutshell at the Parliament of Religions in 1893. He just said each soul is potentially divine. So he made the people understand that everyone has that divine spark in his heart. All the impurities occupying the mind are covering the divine spark. So our task should be how to get rid of these impurities. Once the mind becomes clean, one can certainly see the divine spark inside one's own heart. When one sees that light, that spark in his heart, one becomes ecstatic. It's a tremendous experience. One who gets into that will never like to slip down to the ordinary level of consciousness. Because in that high state of experience, one is remarkably peaceful and happy. Swami Vivekananda's approach to a universal religion is rooted in the Vedic teaching. Ekam sad vipra bahuda vadanti. Truth is one, called by various names by various people. As the different religions of the earth try to embody and express this self-same truth in their own several ways, there is no need, as Swami Vivekananda pointed out, to quarrel over the matter. All religions are various aspects of the one universal religion. This, as Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, the late Prime Minister of India, in his lectures on Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekananda, points out, is a main message of India, and it entails, as Swami Vivekananda so forcefully put in his opening address at the Parliament. This is again another most significant words of Swami Vivekananda. He said, acceptance and not mere tolerance of other people's faiths. You must accept everyone's religion as he approached to the same truth. Swamiji exhorted those assembled at the Parliament and through them the whole world to give up their frog in the well attitude pertaining to their respective faiths. He said it goes against the very basis of religion and spirituality and eventually gives rise to all manner of fanaticism. So don't behave like frog in the well, thinking that yours alone is perfect and everything else is false. It's a wrong notion. Well, Chicago addresses given by Swami Vivekananda will be cherished for introducing the concept of what Walt Whitman, in an oblique reference to Vedantic philosophy and its pronounced socialism, calls spiritual democracy. The sublime humanism embodied in Swami Vivekananda's doctrine goes far beyond and not merely political democracy concept. It entails the recognition of divinity in every person, as well as everybody's inherent right to liberation or moksha. Every little soul counts in the cosmic scheme of things, for Atman is verily Brahman, and with no born sinner complex, devoid of any threat of eternal damnation. Nor is there, according to Vivekananda, the exclusive right to holiness, purity and charity of any faith in the world, for these virtues are evidenced by people of all religious backgrounds. Indeed, one must also hear the resounding, inspired words of the great Swami in his closing address, reverberating down the annals of history, giving a fitting global finale to the entire 17 days proceedings. Swami Vivekananda said, again very significant, if the parliament of religions has shown anything to the world, it is this: it has proved to the world that holiness, purity and charity are not the exclusive possessions of any church in the world, and that every system has produced men and women of the most exalted character. In the face of this evidence, if anybody dreams of the exclusive survival of his own religion and the destruction of the others, I pity him from the bottom of my heart. How great significant these words are. Through his teachings, Swami Vivekananda has integrated all the religions of the world to live in peace and harmony, which was the main message of Sri Ramakrishna. The message was given to the world through Swami Vivekananda at the Parliament of Religions. All his teachings are recorded in 9 volumes. The vast literature of Swami Vivekananda is open for everybody. Why don't you read them and become enlightened? At least you know the cause of all suffering and violence going on in this world and how to tackle them. Swami Vivekananda again tells, see, whatever teachings you refer to Swami Vivekananda's works, you feel tremendously significant. So full of life and inspiring. In one of his talks, Swami Vivekananda declared, every evolution presupposes an involution. What a great significant statement. Every evolution presupposes an involution. All human knowledge proceeds out of experience. We can't know anything except by experience. All our reasoning is based upon generalized experience. All our knowledge is but harmonized experience. Looking around us, what do we find? Continuous change. Plant comes out of the seed, grows into the tree, completes the circles, and comes back to the seed. The animal comes, lives a certain time, dies, and completes the circle. So does man. The mountains slowly but surely crumble away. The rivers slowly but surely dry up. Rains come out of the sea and go back to the sea. Every day we find that the wall that was thought to be dividing one thing and another is being broken down. And all matter is coming to be recognized by modern science as one substance, manifesting in different ways and in various forms. The one life that runs through all like a continuous chain, of which all these various forms represent the links, link after link, extending almost infinitely, but of the same one chain. This is what is called evolution. The seed is becoming a plant. A grain of sand never becomes a plant. It is a father that becomes a child. A lump of clay never becomes a child. From what does this evolution come is a question. What was the seed? It was the same as the tree. All the possibilities of a future tree are in that seed. All the possibilities of a future man are in the little baby. All the possibilities of any future life are in the germ. What is this? The ancient philosophers of India called it involution. We find then that every evolution presupposes an involution. Nothing can be evolved which is not already there. Here again, modern science comes to our help. You know, by mathematical reasoning, that the sum total of the energy that is displayed in the universe is the same throughout. You can't take away one atom of matter or 1 foot-pound of force. You can't add to the universe one atom of matter or 1 foot-pound of force. As such, evolution does not come out of zero. Then where does it come from? From previous involution. The child is a man involved, and the man is a child involved. The seed is a tree involved, and the tree is a seed evolved. The child is a man involved, and the man is a child evolved. The seed is a tree involved, and the tree is a seed evolved. All the possibilities of life are in the germ. The problem becomes a little clearer. Add to it the first idea of continuation of life. Nothing can be evolved which is not already there. Here comes a very interesting question. That question which is generally known as the reincarnation of the soul. Sometimes people get frightened at the idea, and superstition is so strong that thinking men even believe that they are the outcome of nothing, and then with the grandest logic try to deduce that theory, that although they have come out of zero, they will be eternal ever afterwards. Those that come out of zero will certainly have to go back to zero. Neither you, nor I, nor anyone present has come out of zero, nor will go back to zero. We have been existing eternally and will exist, and there is no power under the sun or above the sun which can undo your or my existence or send us back to zero. Now this idea of reincarnation is not only not a frightening idea, but is most essential for the moral well-being of the human race. These are the tremendous words of Swami Vivekananda in the Complete Works, volume number 2. Again Swamiji says, see God in all. This is the gist of all worship. To be sure and to do good to others. He who sees Shiva in the poor, in the weak, and in the deceased really worships Shiva. And if he sees Shiva only in the image, his worship is but preliminary. He who has served and helped one poor man, seeing Shiva in him, without thinking of his caste, creed or race or anything, with him Shiva is more pleased than with the man who sees him only in temples. Tremendous, significant words. Again Swamiji says, God is within you. It's impossible to find God outside of ourselves. Our own souls contribute all of the divinity that is outside of us. We are the greatest temple. The objectification is only a faint imitation of what we see within ourselves. Then Swamiji says, persevere in your search for God. To succeed, you must have tremendous perseverance, tremendous will. I will drink the ocean, says the persevering soul. At my will, mountains will crumble up. Have that sort of energy, that sort of will. Work hard and you will reach the goal. Swamiji himself was a glowing example of this ideal. How he persevered, how he kept continuously coming to Sri Ramakrishna to experience God. Swamiji says, trust completely in God. Stand up for God. Let the world go. Love of God is essential. Giving up all other thoughts with the whole mind, day and night, worship God. Thus being worshipped day and night, he reveals himself and makes his worshippers feel his presence. Swami Vivekananda was staying in the Pelur Mutt. Some laborers used to work in the mutt. They were very poor, uneducated, and extremely simple. Swami Vivekananda had great sympathy, bordering on love, for these laborers who, despite honest and hard labor, could not feed their family adequately. The compassionate heart of Swami Vivekananda would grieve and melt for these poor fellows. He would inquire about their family, say simple jokes and mix with these lowly fellows. The spiritual personality of Swami Vivekananda would see suffering Narayan in them. His heart would get filled with unparalleled pity, compassion and kindness towards these laborers. These workers, seeing the compassionate heart of Swami Vivekananda, they would say, "Oh Swamiji, please don't come to us when we are working. For while talking to you, our work stops and the supervising person rebukes us afterwards." With such intensity of love, Swami Vivekananda would attract these poor laborers. One day Swami Vivekananda had a desire to feed these people. Accordingly, he made elaborate arrangements for their lunch. At his orders, bread, curry, sweets and curds, they were all arranged for the laborers. Sitting before the Swami, all these laborers relished the sumptuous food. One of the persons said, "Oh Swami, whence have you got such a thing? We never tasted anything like this." Feeding them to their heart's content, Swami Vivekananda said, "You are Narayan, God manifest. Today I have offered food to Narayana." Turning to the disciples, Swami Vivekananda said, "I found them the veritable embodiment of God. Such simplicity, such sincere, guileless love I have seen nowhere else. And later, addressing the sannyasins, Swami Vivekananda said, "Can you mitigate their misery a little? Otherwise, what good is the wearing of this ochre robe? Sacrifice of everything for the good of others is real sannyasa. Seeing the poor people starving for food, a desire comes to my mind to overthrow all ceremonial worship and learning and go around from place to place to serve these poor and afflicted." Such love for suffering humanity had come to the heart of Swami Vivekananda from the teachings of the Master. Seeing God everywhere, and in particular His most dramatic and full expression in human beings, was the main emphasis of the teaching of New Vedanta as propagated by Sri Ramakrishna. Innumerable examples can be cited to highlight this point. For instance, Sri Ramakrishna once remarked, "I wondered, why should be God meditated upon only with eyes closed? He should be seen all around us, in all human beings, even with eyes wide open." One more touching incident is worth recounting from the life of Swami Vivekananda. Once Swamiji was delivering a talk on Vedas to the sannyasins of the mutt. The whole country was in the grip of famine. People were suffering and even dying of hunger. Girish Chandra Ghosh, a close associate of Swami Vivekananda and a great devotee of Sri Ramakrishna, was listening to the erudite talk, but felt that such a talk was useless and misplaced, for it did not help mitigate the pangs of hunger of millions. Hence, intervening, Girish said, "Swamiji, would this talk bring peace and solace to this suffering humanity? Can Vedanta and Vedas bring food to the hungry mouths? How I feel for them. What should I do? What can I do?" Listening to the fervent appeal full of pathos and sincere feeling, the broad and tender heart of Swami Vivekananda melted and tears rolled down his cheek. Not to embarrass the sannyasins, Swami Vivekananda rushed away to his chamber in great distress. Turning to the group of sannyasins, Girish Babu said, See how compassionate your Swami Vivekananda is. We householders do not much understand Vedas and Upanishads, but we see genuine love for humanity in Swami Vivekananda and hence love him and his Sangha. The emphasis on seeing God in every being forms the new Advaita teachings of Hinduism for the modern age. This point alone can appease and appeal the scientific-minded Westerners and Indians also, who have accepted and adopted reason as the new religion. Swamiji's teachings, we call them as complete works of Swami Vivekananda. They are like doors to the vast universe of the Vedic scriptures. His sentences are laden with quotations from the Vedas and the Upanishads, and he stands as an authentic interpreter and revealer of the Indian treasures. Swamiji says, as the different streams, having their sources in different places, all mingle their water in the sea, O Lord,
the different paths which men take through different tendencies, various though they appear, crooked or straight, all lead to thee. Very significant words. The Hindus have received their religion through revelation, the Vedas. They hold that the Vedas are without beginning and without end. It may sound ludicrous to this audience how a book can be without beginning or end. But by the Vedas, no books are meant. They mean the accumulated treasury of spiritual laws discovered by different sages in different times. Just as the law of gravitation existed before its discovery and would exist if all humanity forgot it, so is it with the laws that govern the spiritual world. The moral, ethical and spiritual relations between soul and between individual spirits and the Father of all spirits were there before their discovery and would remain even if we forget them. Here I stand, and if I shut my eyes and try to conceive my existence, I, what's the idea before me? The idea of body. Am I then nothing but a combination of material substances? The Vedas declare, no. I am a spirit living in a body. I am not the body. The body will die. But I shall not die. Here, am I in this body? It will fall. But I shall go on living. I had also a past. The soul was not created, for creation means a combination, which means a certain future dissolution. If then the soul was created, it must die. Some are born happy, enjoy perfect health, with beautiful body, mental vigor, and all wants supplied. Others are born miserable. Some are without hands or feet. Others again are idiots and only drag on a wretched existence. Why? If they are all created, why does a just and merciful God create one happy and another unhappy? Why is He so partial? There must have been causes then, before his birth, to make a man miserable or happy, and these were his past actions. Why we suffer? Because of our own actions which we have committed in our previous births. That's the logical reason for suffering. We are responsible for whatever we experience in our life, whether pain or pleasure. The complete works of Swami Vivekananda are like doors to the vast universe of the Vedic scriptures. So, if you just go through them, you get all the knowledge of the Vedas. If you want to know Hinduism in a proper way, please read Swami Vivekananda's works. Thoroughly, patiently. Like sadhana. If you are really seeking after the truth, please read Swami Vivekananda's works. Then you will really understand what exactly Vedanta means. Swami Vivekananda propagated during his lifetime the ideals like social justice, religious harmony, and human fellowship. Swami Vivekananda did not preach any particular religion. What he actually tried to do was to preach the universal principles and concepts of the Vedanta, the all-pervasiveness of the divine. According to him, all the divisions that we make on the basis of religion or nationality are ultimately petty divisions in the light of the grand unity of the family of man. He sincerely believed that the different religions of the world are not contradictory but supplementary to each other, so far as their inner meanings and purposes are concerned. He made it clear that no civilization could grow unless fanaticism, bloodshed and brutality stopped, and no civilization could begin to lift up its head until men and women learned to look charitably and kindly upon the religious convictions of others. At the World Parliament of Religions, Swami Vivekananda also reminded the followers of all religions of the innumerable inhuman deeds committed by man against his fellow beings in the name of religion. He said, sectarianism, bigotry, and its horrible descendant, fanaticism, have long possessed this beautiful earth. They have filled the earth with violence, drenched it often and often with human blood, destroyed civilizations and sent whole nations to despair. Had it not been for these horrible demons, human society would be far more advanced than it is now. We should not miss the significance of these words. Nothing can be more effective in turning humanity from conflict and confrontation to harmony and cooperation than the universal acceptance of the principle of the essential oneness of all humankind as taught by Swami Vivekananda. This is the essence of Vedantic philosophy as expounded by Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda was not just a man of religion, and his contribution was not merely in the spiritual field. He influenced religion as much as religion influenced him. He had a total vision of the welfare of humanity. Social reform was an intrinsic part of his message. Swami Vivekananda represented the best in human beings. Throughout his life, he was on ceaseless pursuit of excellence of truth, of the divine in us. He laid equal emphasis on character building also. As a matter of fact, character building was an intrinsic part of his message. It is unfortunate that we are witnessing a decline in ethical and moral values. It is but appropriate that the younger generations must sincerely follow the ideas propagated by Swamiji. That will be a great contribution for the well-being of the humanity. We have to imbibe Swamiji's lofty teachings of scientific outlook, rationality, broad-mindedness, social sensitivity, and deep sympathy for the deprived and the downtrodden, which are as relevant today as they were during his lifetime. All his teachings have got tremendous spiritual power. They can transform a person. If you are exposed to the spiritual light emanated by Swami Vivekananda, you are sure to be transformed. About peace, Swami Vivekananda had composed a poem. What exactly peace? Where exactly it is? It is not joy nor sorrow, but that which is between. It is not night or morrow, but that which joins them in. It is sweet rest in music and pass in sacred art. The silence between speaking, between the fits of passion, it is a calm of heart. Words of Swami Vivekananda have like this tremendous effect. So, how nicely it will be useful and beneficial for us if we really try to understand and practice them sincerely in our life. We are sure to get the benefit of the tremendous message given by Swami Vivekananda. His message is meant for all. It is not simply for the people in a particular country. Swami Vivekananda's message is meant for the whole humanity. The whole humanity. That's why Swami Vivekananda chose America to broadcast the message of the Vedas, Upanishads. He wanted to see that the whole world becomes aware of this grand message propagated by the Vedas. The truth is well manifested in those Upanishads. Once upon a time, people took up religion seriously and sincerely. They sacrificed everything for the sake of realizing the truth. But then they reached the highest goal, the abode of Supreme God. They didn't want anything else. They are just satisfied in their experience. If we are really aspiring for peace and happiness, we should have that goal to experience that highest reality in this very life. When I am in this body, when I am having this faculty of thinking and reasoning, I should be able to realize the truth. And Swamiji says, in order to live a spiritual life, you need to be very, very strong. You can't be afraid of anything. So his message was very significant. Be not afraid of anything. You will do marvelous work. The moment you fear, you are nobody. It is fear that is a great cause of misery in the world. It is fear that is the greatest of superstitions. It is fear that is a great cause of our woes. And it is fearlessness that brings heaven in a moment. Condemn none. If you can stretch out a helping hand, do so. If you can't, fold your hands. Bless your brothers and let them go their own way. You can't believe in God until you believe in yourself. When we really begin to live in the world, then we understand what is meant by brotherhood or mankind, and not before. External nature is only internal nature writ large. The world is a great gymnasium where we come to make ourselves strong, strong, strong. Feel like Christ and you will be a Christ. Feel like Buddha and you will be a Buddha. It is feeling that is the life, the strength, the vitality, without which no amount of intellectual activity can reach God. The will is not free. It is a phenomenon bound by cause and effect. But there is something behind the will which is free. The more we come out and do good to others, the more our hearts will be purified and God will be in them. There is nothing beyond God. And the sense enjoyments are simply something through which we are passing now in the hope of getting better things. The moment I have realized God sitting in the temple of every human body, the moment I stand in reverence before every human being and see God in him, That moment I am free from bondage. Everything that binds vanishes and I am free. Our duty is to encourage everyone in his struggle to live up to his own highest idea and strive at the same time to make the ideal as near as possible to the truth. That man has reached immortality who is disturbed by nothing material. You have to grow from the inside out. None can teach you. None can make you spiritual. There is no other teacher but your own soul. The goal of mankind is knowledge. Now this knowledge is inherent in man. No knowledge comes from outside. It is all inside. What we say a man knows should, in strict psychological language, be what he discovers or unveils. What man learns is really what he discovers by taking the cover off his own soul, which is a mine of infinite knowledge. If money helps a man to do good to others, it is of some value. But if not, it is simply a mass of evil. And sooner it is got rid of, the better. Whatever you do for your own sake is not religion. It is our own mental attitude which makes the world what it is for us. Our thoughts make things beautiful. Our thoughts make things ugly. The whole world is in our own minds. Learn to see things in the proper light. First, believe in this world that there is meaning behind everything. Everything in the world is good, is holy and beautiful. If you see something evil, think that you are not understanding it in the right light. Throw the burden on yourselves. In the world, this ideal is that you are divine. The greatest religion is to be true to your own nature. Have faith in yourselves. The spirit is the cause of all our thoughts and body action and everything. But it is untouched by good or evil, pleasure or pain, heat or cold, and all the dualism of nature, although it lends its light to everything. All the powers in the universe are already ours. It is we who have put our hands before our eyes and cry that it is dark. If faith in ourselves had been more extensively taught and practiced, I am sure, Swami Vivekananda says, a very large portion of the evils and miseries that we have would have vanished. Where can we go to find God if we can't see Him in our own hearts and in every living being? The Vedanta teaches that Nirvana can be attained here and now, that we don't have to wait for death to reach it. Nirvana is the realization of the self, Atman. And after having once known that, if only for an instant, never again can one be deluded by the mirage of personality. The Vedanta recognizes no sin, it only recognizes error. And the greatest error, says the Vedanta, is to say that you are weak, that you are a sinner, a miserable creature, and that you have no power, and you can't do this and that. How powerful Swami Vivekananda's words. Tremendous. And again, regarding the subject privilege, conceived as he was the divinity of each soul, and consequently of the dignity of each individual, Swami Vivekananda waged a steady battle against all types of privilege and exploitation. In his eyes, all distinctions whereby one might distinguish one person from another, such as caste, creed, race or gender, were based not on the true nature of the individual, but on external superimpositions. From the highest point of view, all are pure spirit, and as such share an essential identity. Thus, all attempts to exercise exclusive rights at the expense of others, were seen by him to be both an affront to the human dignity of man and a contradiction of the spiritual fact of unity. In a lecture delivered in London, entitled Vedanta and Privilege, Swami Vivekananda spoke out against the phenomenon of privilege at all levels of society. Swamiji says in his lecture, the idea of privilege is the bane of human life. Two forces, as it were, are constantly at work. One making caste and other breaking caste. In other words, the one making for privilege and the other breaking down privilege. And whenever privilege is broken down, more and more light and progress come to your race. This struggle we see all around us. Of course, there is first the brutal idea of privilege, that of the strong over the weak. There is the privilege of wealth. If a man has more money than another, he wants a little privilege over those who have less. There is the still subtler and more powerful privilege of intellect, because one man knows more than others. He claims more privilege. And last of all, and the worst, because the most tyrannical, is the privilege of spirituality. If some persons think they know more of spirituality, of God, they claim a superior privilege over everyone else. They say, come down and worship us, ye common herds. We are the messengers of God, and you have to worship us. None can be Vedantis, and at the same time admit of privilege for anyone. The same power is in every man, in every woman, the one manifesting more, the other less. The same potentiality is in every one. Where is the claim to privilege? These are the words of Swami Vivekananda, very significant words. You can read them in complete works. Again, regarding the subject, rich versus poor, perhaps the only injustice which troubled Swami Vivekananda was the tyranny of the wealthy over the poor. Swamiji's sympathy for the poor and downtrodden was one of his most outstanding traits and was a dominant motivating force behind many of his activities, including his initial visit to America and his founding of the Ramakrishna Mutt and Ramakrishna Mission. His utterances regarding the plight of the poor, particularly the depressed masses of India, are some of his most passionate and inspiring. In a letter to his disciples at Madras, Swami Vivekananda wrote, feel, my children, feel for the poor, feel for the ignorant, feel for the downtrodden, feel till the heart stops and the brain reels and you think you will go mad. Then pour the soul out at the feet of the Lord, and then will come power, help, and indomitable energy. In this same letter, Swami Vivekananda pointed out the two crying needs of the poor, bread and education. Swami Vivekananda placed great emphasis on education for the upliftment of the Indian masses. It was his desire that all aspects of life be covered in his education, in this education, so that it would be conducive to the material, intellectual, and spiritual development of the individual. Above all, he wanted a man-making education that would build character, give the masses back their lost individuality, and restore their faith in their own divine potential. As in all matters of social reform, Swamiji's motto was hands off, as he explained to the Maharaja of Mysore. The only service to be done for our lower classes is to give them education, to develop their lost individuality. They are to be given ideas, Their eyes are to be opened to what is going on in the world around them, and then they will work out their own salvation. Every nation, every man, every woman must work out one's own salvation. Give them idea. That's the only help they require. And then the rest must follow as the effect. Ours is to put the chemicals together. The crystallization comes in the law of nature. Our duty is to put ideas in their heads. They will do the rest. Swami Vivekananda was adamant that the poor be served first. In his addresses on Bhakti Yoga, Swami Vivekananda stated, the first of everything should go to the poor. We have only a right to what remains. The poor are God's representatives. Anyone that suffers is his representative. Without giving, he who eats and enjoys eating enjoys sin. And to his brother disciples, Swami Vivekananda wrote, but our mission is for the destitute, the poor, and the illiterate peasantry and laboring classes. And if after everything has been done for them first, there is spare time, then only for the gentry. If there is inequality in nature, still there must be equal chance for all. Or if greater for some and for some less, the weaker should be given more chance than the strong. Another great concern of Swamiji's was the condition of women, not as an isolated social cause, social issue, but as intimately connected with the well-being of society as a whole. He wrote to Swami Ramakrishna, one of his brother disciples, there is no chance for the welfare of the world unless the condition of women is improved. It is not possible for a bird to fly on only one wing. Swamiji's attitude toward women's rights was very much the same as his attitude toward all social questions. Help should be given only in removing the obstacles impeding progress. Education should be offered when necessary, then hands off. They will solve their own problems. Swami Vivekananda's great objection to the treatment of women as second-class citizens was based on two fundamental convictions. The first was his firm belief that all distinctions between individuals based on gender were, from the highest point of view, untenable. Swami Vivekananda was convinced that every one was in reality non-different from the one universal self. As he wrote to his brother disciples, I shall not rest till I root out this distinction of sex. Is there any sex distinction between man and woman? All is Atman. Swami Vivekananda was strongly opposed to the restrictions on women taking the vows of renunciation. And he had high hopes for a women's monastic order built around the wonderful life of Holy Mother. In fact, he often spoke of the establishment of a monastery for women as being of higher priority than one for men. As he explained to Swami Chidananda, Swamiji says, without Shakti, there is no regeneration for the world. Mother, Holy Mother, has been born to revive that wonderful Shakti in India, and making her the nucleus, once more will Gargis and Maitris be born into the world. Hence, it is her mutt that I want first. First mother, and mother's daughters, then father, and father's sons. Anyway, Swamiji's sayings are tremendous. They are invigorating, they inspire us, they transform us, they awaken us. And his great message is worth remembering today on the holy occasion of the birthday of Swami Vivekananda. Arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. Thank you.